Reddit, what's the funniest thing that a random stranger said to you that made you die laughing inside? You and your sister look exactly alike. My sister was adopted from Asia. I'm so white I freckle instead of tan. I just about died of laughter because the woman actually meant it. For context, she'd met my sister a couple weeks before, but I hadn't been there, and she'd mistaken me for my sister. I was in the drive-thru of a Wendy's one time. An employee exited the building with his headphones on and was singing "Who Let the Dogs Out" at the top of his lungs. He saw me, stopped singing, and started walking away. A few seconds later he come up to my window and said, "Yes, that is what I'm listening to." Then he walked away. I laughed so hard at the whole situation. Okay, the laughter was not entirely inside, but years ago on the subway in NY, a crazy dude walks on the train and screams at everyone "You're all going to heck," and then steps off as the doors close. Total silence as the weirdness of the moment settles in. Then, without missing a beat, guy across from me goes, "Crap, I thought this train was going to Harlem." Entire subway car of cynical New Yorkers bursts out laughing. I wish I had the balls to make people crack up like that. I was helping a customer pick out a new bra and she said she wanted her breasts to be lifted. She said, "My boobs are so saggy that if my nipples were eyeballs, I'd be able to see if my shoes were untied." I really tried my best to remain professional, but I couldn't stop laughing, lol. She totally intended for you to crack up. She wouldn't have held it against you. Was leaving Walmart and the 80-ish-year-old greeter says, "Thanks for shopping at Dollar Tree." Good to hear that Creed Bratton's out of jail. Something from high school I'll always remember. It kind of looks like Texas if Texas didn't look like Texas destroyed me, lol. Movie just ended. Me and my dad joined the mad rush to the bathrooms. Urinals are packed. It's our turn, we doing our business. Suddenly someone rips a hug fart. LOL, it's pretty funny but we all have manners. Still peeing. Suddenly this dude proclaims, "It was me," and runs out the door. Whole bathroom erupts in laughter. I must have been about 10 or 11. I sat down on a bench next to an old guy to sort my shoe out. I took my shoe off and he just turns to me and says, "Are they golfing socks?" I look at him with a completely blank look on my face thinking WTF. As I looked away he just said, "There's a hole in one." Perfection. Thanks for this. The time I was waiting for takeout and the amputee owner struck up a convo. "My friend, you have to be really careful if you ever get shot in the knee or any leg bone. They don't warn you that you can't have sex for months. One night you're taking home a beautiful girl to show her your scars and the next morning your leg's gone." A few years ago I let my friend cut my hair. It did not go well. I was living in Philadelphia at the time and was walking through South Philly when I passed two strangers in the middle of the conversation. As I pass, one of them says to the other, "Hold up, I gotta talk to this guy." He proceeds to shout at me, "Ayo, your hair looks like crap. Come over here." I was amused, partially because of his bluntness and partially because he wasn't wrong. I was curious, so I walked over to him. He says, "Look, a buddy of mine owns a barber shop 2 blocks away. Here's his business card. I'll write my name on there. If you mention that I sent you, he'll give you a good deal." Bruh, but seriously, take care of that crap. I never ended up going to his friend's shop, but I frequently use this story as the perfect example of Philly culture. Rude, blunt and in your face, yet somehow coming from a place of genuine care. Plus, it's freaking hilarious. A lot of cultures are like that. Chinese people will straight up tell you're fat, but only if they actually care. They'll be like, "Hey, you're too fat, but you'd be really pretty if you lost some weight. You should go to the gym." A few months ago I was waiting at a road crossing with loads of other strangers, waiting for the man to turn green. This was a busy main road in my city. A little girl on the other side of the road did the most accurate impression of the beep beep that the crossing makes so blind people know it's safe to cross, and the entire crowd of people just stepped into the road. I had seen her do it, so I stayed put, but I couldn't stop laughing. My girlfriend was confused. 50 adults pranked by one absolute genius 6-ish-year-old. It was magical. I saw something similar happen. I was on a rail replacement bus. Someone had pressed the button to get out before the station. The bus stopped. A lot of people got off, and as we drove off I saw the faces of confusion as they realized they got out at the wrong stop. May of 2000. Passing through Norwood, Louisiana with a friend. At around 2 in the afternoon we stopped to gas up, grab some snacks at the most podunk gas station known to man. A young man, extremely agitated, comes in with frustrated gestures and angrily shouts gestures at the cashier with an accent that is beyond region, beyond stereotyping, beyond anything I have heard before. Where the goddamned Wally Melons at the top of lungs, approaching hysteria and tears. I work in retail, and I'm not sure why, but this had me dying for a while. I still laugh when I think about it. Me, how you doing today, sir? Customer, yep. And he went on his way. Once I was walking into class and my teacher told me hey, but I thought he asked how I was doing, so the conversation actually went, teacher, hey, me, I'm good. Met a guy while camping a few years ago. He told us, matter-of-factly, that he was a redneck hippie back in the 60s. He was there for the sex and the drugs, but not so much that love and peace crap. We still crack up about that. An old man on the street with a big, jack-o'-lantern grin on his face and 2 chihuahuas under each arm, loudly proclaiming to no one in particular, I used to carry grenades. Now I carry dogs. A significant upgrade, of course. When I was about 8 years old, 40 some odd years ago, my mother and I were waiting to be seated at a restaurant, and an older gentleman was ahead of us also waiting. The waitress asked him if he'd be smoking, back when that was still a thing in restaurants, and he replied no, but I may burst into flames later. Young me laughed all through lunch at that. In fact, it still makes me giggle, lol. The college I attend frequently has local elementary and middle school kids on tours, especially on Fridays. One particular Friday I was in line for the cafeteria when a group of kids came walking by with a tour guide. One kinda chubby little dude looked a bit uncomfortable. He was biting his lip a little and sweating. This part of the tour is usually when they have a bathroom break, and clearly Buddy needed to go. At this point I should note that the bathrooms are visible from where we're standing. But the tour guide, a fellow student of mine, didn't seem to notice. She just kept going on and on, talking about the history of the building. I watched this kid go from nervous, to deeply anxious, to visibly clenching over a span of about 3 minutes. He's staring at the stick figure dude on the men's bathroom sign as if it was the risen Christ. Ms. Tour guide takes a break in her spiel. I figure she's done. The next words out of her mouth will be ones to free this boy from the purgatory that is having to use the bathroom on a school trip. It'll be over. He'll be free. What followed, instead, was this. So in 1995, a professor named ABC, Kalamazoo, move lady, I'm gonna crap my ass. He ran past her to the bathroom, and presumably destroyed it. Poor guy. Had the entire line in tears with laughter though. Couldn't help but picture Cartman the entire time reading this. Worked at a smoke shop that sold electronic cigarettes years ago. A customer came in complaining that the new flavor made her pee smell funny. I couldn't keep a straight face when I said I wasn't sure if that was related. Then she says, oh, well it could be an STD or something I guess. Thanks, and walked out. When I was a freshman in college I had a pair of rainbow bell bottoms I made and wore a lot. I walking through the city back to the dorms when a guy rode up behind me on a bicycle. He was old, had long, scraggly grey hair and a bright red and yellow windsuit on. He rode beside me for a second, stared and then yelled, "Miss, your pants are hot," whitened the road away into the sunset. It was so random and hilarious. Every time I wore those pants my friends would run up behind me and yell, "Your pants are HWAT." Something I overheard as 2 kids walked past our caravan park site, a rumbling boom of distant thunder. Kid 1, I like thunder. It sounds like a 200-year-old dog who's retired and helps old people who are blind to get around. Kid 2, silence. Kid 1, you know? Kid 2, but why is it retired? Kid 1, because it's old. Kid 2, but it's still helping blind people. Kid 1, silence. Just the other day checking out at the Cracker Barrel, the older gentleman ringing my wife up accidentally said, with all confidence, "Have a thank you." When I worked retail, I often told people, from a misheard Tom Waits lyric, "Our receipt is our gift to you." No so much said to me as overheard. Walking down the street with my fiancé after dinner, a man and woman pass us. Very clearly I heard the man say, "Dut," and that's the second time I got crabs. I just keep a special little comb at the house now, just in case. I'm not sure of any particulars and have thought about that interaction often. So many questions. I know they heard me laugh though. And that's the second time I got crabs is a throwaway joke from a scene open in the movie Super Troopers. They were messing with you. I used to be a smoker. One time a scruffy looking man asked me for a light. I told him I only had matches. It was very windy. He said, "That's okay. There's a trick to it. You light the match and then suck down real hard. You get a mouthful of sulfur that way, but you gotta have a trick when you're going 30 miles an hour on top of a tank." A friend of mine's grandpa was in THR Navy in World War II. You would not believe the conditions in which that man is capable of lighting a match, cigarette, and smoking the whole thing. Open field, 30 miles per hour winds, torrential rains, 2 acres away from a tornado, even in whiteout snowstorms. It's insanity to witness in person. I once was canoeing with my fiance for the first time and we were having a bit of trouble at first getting a rhythm going, so we were along the edge of the water hitting the canal. This random couple was walking along the wall and said to his wife while pointing at us, "Our canoeing, the true test of love." My fiance and I bursted into laughter for 20 minutes and then finally got our rhythm together. That guy canoes. I was at a 50th wedding anniversary party and there were lots of elderly people in attendance. An old man was standing next to me and said, "It looks like a freaking graveyard in here." I literally spit my beer out. We were outdoors. The kicker was the guy was close to the same age as everyone else. I was at a salon with my grandma and there were mirrors all around at different angles. She turned around, looked confused, and just said, "Oh crap, that's me." Turns out she saw herself from the back in one of the mirrors and thought there was an old lady behind her. Watched a guy walking to class at my college years ago saying, "Get the frick out of my way," to a pigeon standing in his path. The pigeon quickly waddled off to the side. I was doing tech support over the phone for an internet company at a call center. I got a call from an elderly woman because her internet stopped working. After checking remotely that the modem was working and that there was no issues on her area, I was scheduling a visit from one of our technicians when she suddenly says, "Oh, I know what happened. The cat was playing around the router yesterday, right? You think it took a cable or something? No. He probably took away the Wi-Fi. You mean like he moved the router? No. He probably took the airwaves of the Wi-Fi. You know how cats see things we can't. He surely say the Wi-Fi signal, grabbed it and took it away." It took all my willpower to not laugh in her face and finish the call. The cat probably ate the Wi-Fi waves. Don't worry, your connection should be restored in 6 to 8 hours. Someone called me, said "piece of pizza" in a Mexican accent and hung up. I think what was said was already mentioned. It was probably pizza pizza like the Little Caesars slogan. Either way, it's hilarious. I was riding the Subway home one night with a Spike's Junkyard sandwich of the buffalo chicken variety. A clearly drunk guy with his girlfriend said to me, "Are you going to face frick that sandwich?" To which I replied, "Yes." He then turned to his girlfriend and said, "Babe, let's get some buffalo chicken." Years ago when queuing up for movie tickets with my family, the attendant asked the ages of our 4 kids to see if they could all get children price tickets. I announced their ages, 7, 9, 11 and 13. Without missing a beat, the stranger behind us declared, "That's an odd group. They'll even out next year." You have been visited by the hamster of joy. Comment, "I like chicken to live a happy and full of joy like the joy hamster life." If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.